Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. Today we will continue our lambda transformers. This is my 30th video. Okay, we were discussing before, maybe from now we have about 10 videos. We were discussing how to install the Pfsense Firewall on a virtual machine, and how we have tried most of the features of this open source firewall. As I said before, this Pfsense Firewall, it is an open source firewall. It is based on FreeBSD. It's a Linux distro. So we have tried the different features of the Pfsense Firewall. For example, we have tried the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard, and these two features are mainly used for web filtering. Okay, so if you want, for example, to block some websites or some websites on different users or different groups, Active Directory users or groups, and also the Squid Proxy, additionally even though it's working as a web filtering, it also works as the caching. What means that if, for example, if you have a website that a certain user or group use it frequently, the proxy, Squid Proxy, basically what it does, that it takes a local cache or a local copy of this website that it is frequently used by your users on the hard disk of the firewall. So if the user wants to access this website again, it will get it from the local copy on the firewall hard disk to save time and bandwidth for your network. Okay, this is for the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard. As I said before, these two are combined, used for web filtering. And then we have tried the PF blocker NG. It is the same, does the same function like the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard. It also acts as a web filtering, but the main or its advantages, or it is, I prefer to use it more than the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard, because it doesn't work with the HTTPS websites. As I said before, there is a big issue when you use the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard. When you are working with web filtering with these both features, the HTTPS websites, there is a problem with them. When you work with Squid Proxy and Squid Guard, most of the websites HTTPS doesn't work correctly, or it is broken. As I said before, this is because of using an option called transparent proxy server, and this I have said in another video how to disable it and how to fix this issue. And as I said before, the PF blocker NG is much better than the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard. As I said before, if you for the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard to pass HTTPS websites, you need to have a certification issued from the firewall and to be imported in every browser for every user on the network. Okay, this method works perfectly when you are working with Windows or with PCs and laptops, but if you're working with Android phones or iOS, it's very difficult to install a certification on these devices to enable HTTPS websites to pass. And as I said before, most of the websites now working with HTTPS. So for the PF blocker NG, it makes web filtering but without the need for a certification to be installed. Okay, so you can access the HTTPS websites. This works for all of the systems. The PF blocker NG works for the Windows PCs, laptops, Android phones, and iOS phones. For more details, please refer to my previous videos. So as I said before, we have tried the Squid Proxy, the Squid Guard, the PF blocker NG, and our last video we were discussing the feature of the Snort. The Snort is acting as an intrusion detection system. As I said before, intrusion detection is the first line of defense. What is intrusion detection means? Basically, it inspects every traffic that comes from the internet to your network. to internal network, and from your internal network to the internet. It inspects or analyzes the traffic packet by packet. Okay, it doesn't inspect the programs or as a whole. No, it inspects packet by packet, so it is very effective. Actually, it comes as the first line of defense even before the antivirus itself. For example, I will give an example. If, for example, want to access a website that contains a virus, okay, so you access the website and then you begin downloading a file. This file is infected, so your antivirus can block this file or can quarantine this file if it has the needed time, or it has the let's say has more time, or it has more time to quarantine it. For example, if the virus was very fast and the antivirus wasn't fast enough to quarantine it, so it will affect your whole network and your PC. But if you are using an intrusion detection, the minute that this user try to access the website, okay, before even trying or in the first steps for typing the websites and going to it, the intrusion detections inspects the websites and see if it is on its blacklist or the whitelist. So if it is already a blacklist site or it contains a suspicious traffic, the intrusion detection will prevent it from the start. It will not let you go to the website from the first or from the beginning. So intrusion detection is the first line of defense, as I said. It is very effective, and it's in most corporate firewalls. It is integrated with the most corporate firewalls, okay, and actually also some antiviruses contain both antivirus and intrusion detection in the same software package, okay. So as I said before, we were talking about the Snort in the previous video. We have installed it, okay, and we have also made an upgrade for the Pfsense Firewall from version 2.4.4 to 2.4.5, and as I said before, I had some problems concerning this upgrade. When I upgraded this the Pfsense Firewall from 2.4.4 to 2.4.5, the Squid Proxy and the Squid Guard packages wasn't working and the services was stopped, okay. So in this video we'll try to solve this issue, and also when I have installed the Snort package or the intrusion detection and set it up, all of the setup was correct, but the Snort service wasn't working either. So in this video we'll try to solve these three problems and see how it is solved, okay. And in the upcoming video, okay, we will test the Snort and the PF blocker NG and the captive portal on an Android system, okay. So let's begin. So here we'll open the VMware Workstation Pro and we will power on the firewall. And also one of the features that we already worked with in the Pfsense Firewall, it is the captive portal, and as I said before, it is a system that allows the user to access the internet with a username and a password. We have done this before, and there is also another feature to access the internet instead of a username and a password, to work with a voucher. A voucher, it is a code that with it the user can access the internet with a specified time, maybe for 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, the duration that you need. Okay, so this is also another feature that we have tried in the captive portal. It is a very good feature. Okay, so we have discussed most of the features of the firewall, and this is the last feature that I will discuss for the Pfsense Firewall, which is the Snort. And then we will go to another topic, or we will continue our lab, the transformers. We will begin after finishing the videos of the Pfsense Firewall. We will begin I will continue the transformers lab, but in another issue concerning the backup exec Veritas, and how to make a backup plan for your network, and how to use the backup exe to plan your backup plan. Okay, don't worry. Okay, we will see this after, not the upcoming video, the upcoming video you will see this, but just now we will try to solve the problems that I have previously mentioned concerning the Squid proxy and the Squid guard and the Snort. All of these services are not working on the Pfsense Firewall after the upgrade of the Pfsense Firewall from the version 2.4.4 to 2.4.5. So now the firewall, it is loading the packages. So now we will access the firewall. Basically what we will do, my troubleshooting steps, what I did, that I have already make a backup from the firewall. I have took a backup of the configuration of the firewall, and then I took a snapshot from the virtual machine that contains the firewall. As I said before, taking a snapshot, it's like taking a backup in the physical world. Okay, so I have took a backup of the firewall and physically, and took a configuration backup of the firewall, and then I will uninstall the 3 packages, the Squid proxy and the Squid guard and the Snort, and I after that will restore my firewall backup to see if everything is working or not. Okay, so here I am taking a snapshot of the firewall, which means, as I said before, it's like taking a physical backup from the firewall in the physical world or in the production world, not in the virtual world. So you are taking a backup of the firewall. Just to take a note, okay, you need to make sure that before taking a backup, a software backup of the firewall, we will see now. When it comes to taking a backup, I will show you. I have a little note here. We are taking the snapshot. So we will take a configuration backup of the firewall and a physical backup of the firewall by taking a snapshot. Okay, so here we have took a snapshot of the firewall. We will go now to the firewall and export the configuration of the firewall. Just to take a note, as I said before, if you are exporting the configuration of the firewall, okay, make sure that all of the packages are up to date. For example, if you have a Squid proxy and the Squid guard and the Snort, make sure that all of the packages are up to date before taking or exporting the configuration of the firewall. Because, for example, if you have your Squid proxy or Squid guard version old, and then you uninstall it and make or install a newer version, and you try to restore the old backup, okay, of the Squid guard or Squid proxy, it will not work. You should have the configuration and the version match. Both should match. For example, if you have a version, for example, let me show here, we can download the configuration or export the firewall configuration. As I said before, for example, if you have the Squid, for example, guard 2.4, for example, and Squid proxy 2.4, okay, and then you export the configuration for the Squid guard and Squid proxy for the version 2.4, and then you uninstall the Squid proxy and the Squid guard, and you installed a new version of the Squid proxy and Squid guard, for example 2.5, okay. So if you install them and you try to retrieve the exported configuration which was for the Squid guard and Squid proxy 2.4, it will not work, okay. So you need to make sure that all of your packages are up to date before exporting your configuration, okay, because if there is a newer version and you try to restore the old configuration on it, it will not work, okay. This is a note to be taken. So here we are exporting the firewall configuration. Here I have already unchecked this, do not backup RRD. I don't know what is RRD, but I am trying to take a full backup of the configuration, so I have unchecked it, okay, and then download the XML file, okay. This is the how to export the configuration of the Pfsense Firewall. So here we will export it. Sorry, here we will put it in the transformers folder. This folder contains all of my lab scripts, my lab software, all of it, okay, and this folder will be in a Google Drive link, okay, under the description of every video I put in my channel, okay. So here now we have already exported the configuration of the firewall. We will see now that the Squid service is not running. I'm trying to make it start, but it doesn't work, and then also I tried for the Snort service also, but also it doesn't work. So I will try to uninstall both packages, okay, and see if reinstalling them will work or will make the services work again, okay. So now we will go to system, and then we'll go to system and then package manager and try to deinstall both packages for the Squid proxy, Squid guard, and here we can see for a moment, just a minute, I want to get a little bit closer here. Here we can see that we have already the Squid proxy server, but the Squid guard disappeared, okay. This is done after the upgrade of the firewall Pfsense from version 2.4.4 to 2.4.5. I had an error, so the Squid guard disappeared from me, or disappeared from the menu of the services, and only the Squid proxy is available, okay. So now just to take note, okay, because I will uninstall the Squid proxy server package and the Snort package and reinstall them again, and install also the Squid guard, okay. So now I'm just trying to see if there is any logs I can check to see if I can see the error. For example, here you can see patch captive portal, this feature was removed, okay. This is also something to take note of. The Squid proxy guard or the Squid proxy doesn't have the patch captive portal feature available anymore, okay. I don't know what does this feature does actually, but this is something to take note after upgrading the Pfsense Firewall, okay. Well, basically the Pfsense Firewall seemed to be a good firewall from the capabilities of it, but actually from the process of upgrading the firewall and adding the packages and maintaining the packages, okay, and maintaining them, I mean updated, and the integrity between the Pfsense Firewall and these packages, it seems to be a little bit broken, okay. For example, if you are working with a commercial firewall, all of these problems I didn't face. For example, I was working with the FortiGate and with the and with the Sophos, but I didn't have any problems concerning these two firewalls. Actually FortiGate I didn't work with Sophos, but the FortiGate did contain these problems. Just a minute. So let's continue on. Here we will deinstall, as I said before, the Squid proxy and the Snort, and try to reinstall them back and see if the services will work again. Here I have discovered something. If you uninstall a package from the Pfsense Firewall, the configuration isn't deleted, it's still kept. So you will see here, if I uninstall the Squid proxy and the Squid guard and the Snort and then reinstall them back, you will see that all of my configuration will be restored, even though I didn't restore my XML file that contains the firewall package, firewall configuration. You will see that now in a moment. Here I am trying to see if there is any logs. I can check if there is any errors. Here, for example, is the Snort log section to see if there is any errors with the Snort service, but I didn't actually succeed in doing this. Okay, so I'm trying to see any logs from the three packages. For example, for the Squid proxy, the Squid guard and the Snort, all of them doesn't contain anything that gives me a hint why these services are not working. Okay, so I am, as a last resort, I will just deinstall the packages and reinstall them back. So here we can see that I am just trying to see if I can see any logs concerning these services. Here I'm trying to restart the Snort again, Snort service. But as we can see that the Snort service is not working. So we will go to the package manager and then uninstall both or the three packages. Here is the Snort. It says that there is an update for the Squid package and the Snort package. So I have tried to, before uninstalling the package, I tried to update the Squid package and the Snort package and see if maybe updating these packages will solve the problem, but actually it didn't solve the problem. Still the services for the Squid proxy and the Squid guard and the Snort didn't work. This is before I deinstall the package from the start and begin installation again. Okay, this is all the steps for the troubleshooting steps. You need to make sure first, before or when you are troubleshooting a service, you need to make sure that the packages of the firewall is up to date. Okay, and and check the log files and see if there is any errors that appear. If you didn't find anything in the logs and you update the packages and still the problem persists, then you can begin from the start, deinstall the packages and reinstall them back and see if this will solve the problem. Okay, so here I have already updated the Squid package, and then I will update the Snort package as well. Here we can see that it's with yellow and contains a little bit of an icon here. This means that there is an update, and as I said before, this is not done automatically by the firewall. You need to do it manually. Okay, and this is also another thing to be taken into consideration when we are working with the Pfsense Firewall or with the open source firewall. You need to monitor all of the packages and see if they are up to date, and monitor the upgrades, and to be sure that the firewall upgrade and the packages will not conflict, or the integration between the Pfsense Firewall and the packages or the third-party packages are there is no conflict between the third-party packages and the Pfsense Firewall. And I said before, I had a problem with the Squid proxy and the Squid guard with the packages with the upgrade of the firewall. So if you have a commercial, as I said before, a commercial firewall, this kind of problems will not arise, and you also pay for the support. Here, for example, if you have a problem with the Pfsense, you need to go to the forums and see if there is any solution for the problems. But if you are paying for a firewall service, then you have a support to serve you, okay, and solve the problems for you, and there is no problems with the different parts of the system with itself, or different packages of the system with itself, not like the Pfsense here. As I said before, I have the FortiGate. I didn't have any problem concerning any integrity issues, okay, between the packages that the firewall contains and the firewall system itself. So now I have already trying to download to upgrade the Snort. So here now it is upgraded. So now I will try to go now and restart the service of the Squid and the Snort service, but still they will not work. Now for the Snort. Still the two services didn't work, so I have decided to go to the package manager and deinstall both of them or uninstall both of them. Here I try to go to still the Snort service and try to start it. Also still it didn't work. So take into consideration always to take a backup of your firewall and the backup of your configuration of the firewall. This is a best practice step, just to make sure that if anything happens to the firewall and you need to reset it or to make it to the factory setting or reset it to the factory setting, you have a complete backup of your firewall physically as a system, and software or the configuration part, you have also the configuration exported. So here and now we will uninstall the Squid by you need first to deinstall the Squid guard and then the Squid proxy and then the Snort, okay, in order, okay, in this order. So now I am deinstalling the Squid guard. It will take a little bit of time, I think. Yes, it is now done. It is deinstalled. I think now still there is, I said before, one good thing when you deinstall packages, that the configuration of these packages are still held by the firewall. It is still saved. So for example, if I deinstall Squid guard and Squid proxy and Snort, when I reinstall them back, all of the configuration are kept. You don't need to reconfigure it again, okay? So here I am, you will see that now in a moment. I am now removing the Pfsense Squid package. I have before deinstalled or uninstalled the Squid guard. Now this is the Squid proxy. So now we have already uninstalled both Squid guard and Squid proxy. Now we will also uninstall the Snort package. This is the icon for uninstall. This we say it in English, this garbage icon, okay, garbage like icon, okay. So now we are uninstalling the Snort package. So now we can see that we have only two packages. It is the Open Client Export and the PF Blocker NG. So now we will go and reboot the firewall. I am just checking to see if the firewall that will reboot. I have also a problem, I discussed it before in previous videos, that I don't know how to make or how to shut down the firewall properly. As I said before, if you try to shut down this firewall from this icon, this is like shutting down or like unplugging the power cable. This is exactly what you do if you try to use this icon. It's, for example, if you're having your firewall and it is powered on, it's just unplugging the cable of the power for the firewall. This is very dangerous, and this made serious problems for me. The firewall hard disk was corrupted a couple of times, and also the system. So I searched and googled the internet and see that to shut down the firewall there is a command that's called shutdown -h, or you can make it from the graphical interface from inside the firewall. It's called halt system. We will see that now in a moment. Said before, there is a lot of problems appeared for me when I tried to work with the Pfsense Firewall and try to shut down or restart from these icons here. This made a lot of problems. Okay, the hard disk was corrupted for the firewall, and the Pfsense system itself was corrupted. I fixed them by a couple of commands, okay, but it repeated again, so I discovered that the problem was with my way of shutting down and restarting the firewall. And as I said before, this problem arises because there is a problem with the FreeBSD system that this firewall is built on, and with the VM Workstation Pro VMware tools. There is no integration between both of them, and I said before, VM tools, this is tools that to be installed on every virtual machine that you create on the VM Workstation Pro for the optimum or the optimal integration between the virtual machine and the software of the VM Workstation Pro. What I mean by optimal integration, you can share things from your host to the virtual machine. You can you have integrity between, or the best performance for the graphic cards and a lot of things. Okay, so the problem, and also when you install the VMware tools, you can restart and shut down the virtual machines from the icons in the VM Workstation Pro. But as I said before, because there is no integration with the FreeBSD and VMware tools, okay, so the shutdown icon and the restart icon doesn't work. Okay, so here now I'm trying to, what I did here, that I'm trying to, now we have rebooted the firewall, and now I will install the Squid package. Okay, this is the latest one. If you want to know why or how I solved the problems with the Pfsense Firewall, or why there is a corruption for the hard disk and the Pfsense system, please refer to my previous video. I am discussing it in details. Okay, so now here I am trying to install the Squid proxy package. So now it is already installed. I will go now and install the Squid Guard package. I think I am now checking the service for the Squid Guard and the Squid proxy, and to see if I can start the service. Here we can see now that if we go to the Squid Guard, let me have it a little bit backwards. So here now we can see that the Squid package is installed, and when we go to the Squid proxy service, it still didn't work. And if we go to the configuration of the Squid proxy, we can see that all of our previous configuration is maintained. It is not deleted. all of it is there. The configuration I had put, all of them are there. So if you uninstall any package from the Pfsense firewall, it will maintain the configuration for this package. Okay, it doesn't delete the configuration of the package that you have uninstalled. Okay, so now I'll try to restart the service, but it will not work actually. Still it is stopped. So now I will go to the package manager, I think, and I will try to install the Squid guard. Okay, here I will go and install the Squid guard. Confirm. I think now I can pass it quickly. So now we have already installed the Squid guard package. I think I have it. Okay, it is paused. So now we have both Squid proxy and Squid guard packages are installed. The last installation that we will do to install the Snort package. Okay, and all of the packages of the Squid proxy and the Squid guard, all of them are up to date. So we can see here that the Squid proxy filter appeared again. It wasn't appearing before that. Okay, if you take a note, before that, before uninstalling the Squid proxy, I didn't have the Squid proxy filter. It wasn't there. Okay, so now we have both services installed and both configurations. If you go to the Squid guard proxy, you can see here that all of my configuration is maintained. Okay, even though I have uninstalled the package, but as I said before, the firewall doesn't delete the configuration for the package even though you have uninstalled the package itself. Okay, so here we can see that all of my configuration is maintained. So now I will go and try to restart both services, and actually they didn't work. So I tried to search the internet or Google to see if there is anything I can do for these two services to work, but I think it's an integration issue for this version with the Pfsense Firewall, because when I searched Google there was a lot of problems before when upgrading the firewall, or after upgrading the firewall, the Squid proxy and the Squid guard had problems with the upgrade of the firewall. They don't maintain, or they don't, for example, if you have Windows 10, for example, and you have Adobe Windows 10 updated, so Adobe need to update its software to work with the newest version of Windows 10. Okay, this doesn't happen with the Pfsense. If you upgrade the Pfsense firewall, the Squid proxy and the Squid guard developers should update their packages to work with the newest or the latest version of the Pfsense firewall, but actually this doesn't happen, because I searched Google a couple of times and there is problems every time a Pfsense firewall upgrade appears, and with the Squid proxy and the Squid guard they don't maintain their packages to reflect or to work with the latest version of the Pfsense Firewall. So here we can see now that I am installing the Snort package. One good thing that the configuration for the packages are not deleted, so I don't have to restore my XML configuration of the firewall or to import the configuration of the firewall again. All of the configuration are there. It will take a little bit of time, okay, to install the package and the rules. Okay, here we can get a little bit back. So here I am searching the internet and see if I can find the solution for not the Squid service not working, okay, or didn't start. So here I found a couple of forums saying that you need to have an entry. As I said before, the Squid proxy and the Squid guard are web filtering packages, so you need to have an entry in the blacklist or whitelist option in them, so you can begin, or so that the services for both of the Squid proxy and the Squid guard to begin. Okay, this was a suggestion from one of the forums. We will see that now in a moment. As I said before, I don't have a solution for anything. If you want to work in the IT field, you need to be prepared for a lot of thinking and a lot of searching, okay, because actually no one knows everything. Okay, so now I'm trying to search the internet, and actually, as I said before, I think it's an integration issue or a compatibility issue between the Squid, both Squid packages and with the new Pfsense Firewall version. Okay, here as we can see that all of the, and also when you are searching, try to search for the latest problem date. I mean, for example, if this is a problem that happens 2014, you don't need to see it, because actually what happens is 2020. You need to see if this problem is repeated in a recent date, okay, because maybe in older times or in previous times this was solved. Okay, we need it to be a recent post having the same problem as my problem. Okay, okay, I'll just don't need to bother you all with the details. Here, as we can see, just a minute, it says here that you need to add a whitelist in the target categories. There is something called target categories in the Squid proxy. These target categories basically that you need to put an entry, for example, to tell him to block a certain website or to allow a certain website. This is done through the target categories. What does it say is that you need to have one entry in the target categories at least, so for the Squid and the Squid guard services to restart, and you need to reboot the firewall after that. This was the one of the troubleshooting steps, or one of the solution steps that was suggested by this website. Okay. So here I'm trying to see if I can search for a command to shut down the firewall properly or restart the firewall. As I said before, because there is no integration between the workstation VM Workstation Pro and the FreeBSD system of the firewall, you can't shut down or restart the firewall from the icon of the shutdown or firewall in the VM Workstation Pro. You need to shut down or restart the firewall from the firewall system itself. As I said before, if you have the VM tools installed on the virtual machine, the shutdown icon and the restart icon in the VM Workstation Pro options will work perfectly. Okay, you don't need to go to the system of the virtual machine, Windows, any system, and go and shut it down from the system itself. The VM Workstation Pro gives you an option to have two icons, shutdown and restart icon, outside or in the VM Workstation Pro software itself, so you can shut down and restart the system, and you don't need to go to the every virtual machine system and restart it or shut down it from its system itself. Okay. But as I said before, because there is no integration between the FreeBSD system and the VM Workstation Pro, so shutting down or restarting the system from the shutdown icon and the restart icon, it's like unplugging the power cable from the firewall itself. This is basically what it did, and this made a lot of problems for me with the firewall hardware itself, the hard disk, and the system itself. Okay. So I found that there is an option that you can shut down the firewall and reboot the firewall, restart the firewall from the firewall system itself, from something called reboot from the diagnostic menu, and this is for the restart, and something called halt system, which is like shutdown. You can see that I am highlighting the option. So now we can see I'm just monitoring the now it's still installing the Snort package. Yeah, now here we can see that the Snort package is done, installed. We will go and try to start the service. We will see it will succeed, and actually the configuration is there. As I said before, the configuration for the package wasn't deleted. So this is also a good step. As now we can see that the service is started, so we have succeeded in making the Snort service working. Now we have to see if we can make the Squid proxy and the Squid guard services work as well. As I said before, here we will go to the target categories and we will make any entry in the target categories. Okay, so here we will go and maybe adding a new entry or a new list. Here we can see that the configuration is still there from our previous videos. And the blacklist. Also there is a suggested solution to download the blacklist again. As I said before, if you want the Squid guard to work with a blacklist or predefined blacklist, you need to download the blacklist from a certain website and then begin working with this predefined or ready-made blacklist. Okay, so here now we will make a new entry in the target categories. We see if it will work. This is to allow the Google website, or to block the website, doesn't matter. You need to make only one entry as this forum says, so the Squid proxy and the Squid guard services to work, but actually I had already in my previous configuration one entry done. See the block social media, but I had made already another entry just to make sure that this is not the problem. And then we'll check the box for logging this or making to log this blacklist or this list. And then you don't have, when you are naming this target list, you need not to leave spaces between the names or between the letters. Okay, so now we have already made an entry in the target categories. We will see if this will solve the problem. I have already rebooted the firewall, as also the forum suggests. You need to make an entry in the target categories and then reboot the firewall. So now the firewall is rebooting. Will take a little bit of time. I think I can pass it quickly. Here we can see that the Squid proxy is loading. Here is the firewall booted already. I will try to see, log in back and see if I can start the Squid proxy and the Squid guard services. Sorry, it will take a little bit of time. We can pause it quickly. Here, as I see, we are trying to restart the service for the Squid and the Squid guard, but still it didn't work. So I think it's a compatibility issue between the both packages and with the newer version of the Pfsense Firewall itself. If someone has a solution, please write it in the comment of the video, because actually I didn't find any other solution for it. Just a minute, I think this is full. Okay. So now I'm still searching the forums to see if there is anything I can do. So it says that you need to download the blacklist or predefined blacklists. So I will go to the Squid proxy filter and download the predefined blacklist. This is a ready-made blacklist that is used to block famous websites or famous bad websites, for example porn and blah blah blah, alcohol and blah blah. This is predefined websites, so it is blocked by this. This is a famous website, Shala list. This contains a popular bad websites list. You can download it and begin web blocking with it or web filter blocking with it. Okay, so now this forum suggests that you need to reinstall or re-download the blacklist package for the problem for the Squid proxy and the Squid guard services to work or to be effective or to be active again. So I have already done this, and then I will try to stop the service of the first. I will apply, click on the apply option, so to make the blacklist valid or working. So I have restarted the service. This is how you can do it from inside the Squid guard menu itself. You can do it from outside or from the restart interface or from the services interface, but I'm doing it from the inside. I'm just enable and disable the service from here just to make sure that the service will work. Here I'm trying to see if I can see any logs that maybe give me a hint on how to solve this problem, but I didn't find anything useful. Here I will go to the, maybe I make a reboot maybe. I think I have also gone to the Squid, just a minute. Already gone to the Squid proxy and try to disable it and enable it like I did in the Squid guard. And then try to save the setting. This is basically that I'm trying to enable and disable both options and enabling it for the Squid proxy and the Squid guards to see if this may solve the problem, but actually didn't solve the problem also. So my main idea or my main suggestion for this problem, it is, as I said before, a compatibility issue between the Squid proxy package and the Squid guard package, also with the new version of the Pfsense Firewall, which is 2.4.5. okay, if anyone have the same problem, please share it with us to know if this is a common issue. Here we'll try to start the Squid service and the Squid guard, but actually it will not work. We have successfully made the Snort service work. Actually, we'll try now to see if we can shut down the firewall from, I just bookmarked this page, and I will try to see if I can shut down the firewall from the halt system option inside the firewall. Actually, it's simple to say shut down system or restart. Why to say it halt system and reboot? Maybe reboot, if someone is familiar with the expression, okay, reboot, this is, I can understand that it means restart. But as for halt system, no one uses this halt system. Maybe for Linux systems, but for a Windows system or a Windows administrator, okay, halt doesn't mean anything for me. Okay, so here I discovered that halting system is like shutting down the system. Okay, here I'm just checking, re-enabling and disabling the service. Another forum says that you need to disable the Squid guard and the Squid proxy, and then enable the Squid guard first and then the Squid proxy. This is another forum suggesting this thing to do. So I will go also to the try to see maybe after disabling the Squid guard if the Squid proxy will work, service will work. This is the suggestion for the for this forum, to disable both services and then enable the Squid guard, the Squid proxy first service and then the Squid guard. But actually also this didn't solve the issue. So now I'm trying to search or Google. Actually, this is also another problem for working with a open source firewall. If the problem isn't encountered, or it is the first time to encounter this problem, you will see less forums discussing this issue. So maybe it's still a new issue to be faced, or it is faced recently. So maybe after a couple of days, maybe a couple of months, this issue will be solved in another update or another upgrade for the firewall, or the developers will take care of the Squid guard and Squid proxy packages and make it more compatible with the new version of the Pfsense Firewall. Maybe. So this is also another advantage of using a commercial firewall, because before they put their or publish their upgrade or the new version of the firewall, they are making sure that all of the services and all of the packages inside the firewall are compatible with each other. Okay, they test it thoroughly before publishing it to their customers, because they are paid for the service and paid for the firewall itself as a hardware and software, of course. So here actually I think I didn't find any solution for this. So here we can see I will test the option for shut down the firewall. I will go here from, we'll go to the diagnostic and see diagnostic and then the halt system. Halt system, that means shut down the system. I think this is a Linux expression maybe, or it's used frequently in the Linux systems, but in the Windows system it's not familiar to have a halt system as a shutdown option. Okay, so here I will halt the system, and this actually was a good idea. It already shut down the system. I think this is the end of our video. The upcoming video we will discuss how to make a virtual machine and simulate it as an Android phone to see how our PF blocker NG will work and our captive portal will work, okay, on an Android system. Okay, so until the upcoming video, I hope this was informative for you all, and I like you to thank you for viewing. Thank you so much.